So spoiled rich kids tend to think that they deserve everything, and when things don't go their way, they normally get really mad. In this case, the spoiled rich kid gets so mad that he burns down his entire school. Yeah, a little bit of an overreaction. This is an absolutely crazy story, so buckle up and let's get right into it.
And we're crying, 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 like a wounded animal.
So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Sam. So anyways, there's a spoiled kid. And I'm going to go through the chronicles of everything that happened to the spoiled kid that led up to the point of him wanting to actually and successfully burning down his entire school. Dude, the amount of spoiled kids who commit arson in some way is kind of ridiculous, but it's a good story. So anyways, this all started. Sam was first aware of the spoiled kid because Sam was on the football team at his high school. Sam wasn't the star quarterback or anything, but he was, he'd been playing football for a little bit. He was big enough and, he was solidly on the team. Every single year they had tryouts for the different positions just in case there was kind of a dark horse that they weren't aware of. But most of the time, the coaches knew who was going to be what, and the tryouts were more just to see who would be on kind of like the lower levels of the team that might be able to work their way up next year. But anyways, at the school, at Sam's school, there's a kid who we will call the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid, as every spoiled kid, right, has received everything that they've ever wanted in their entire lives. They've never had to work for anything. They don't understand the value of things or getting something or accomplishments because they just believed because I want something, I should get it. That is genuinely their mentality. And the spoiled kid went into the football tryouts with this exact mentality. So anyways, this all started, this long saga, all started when football tryouts were beginning. So Sam was there, and Sam had been on the team the year before, as this was sophomore year. So Sam last year had to try out, had to put in a lot of effort, but eventually, he got onto the team, and he kind of had a pretty solid place on the team now. Everyone had to go to tryouts, but he kind of knew he was on. On the other hand, there was the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid was not built for football. Dude, I'm not built for football. It's fine. You don't have to be, right? Because, you can be smaller and scrawnier and be on the football team. But, dude, it's just going to be a lot harder because it's a very physical contact-on-contact sport. But anyways, the spoiled kid, not only not being really built for football because maybe your skill and your flexibility and your mobility could get you around that hurdle, he also just didn't play that much. Like, he literally threw the football with his dad, twice and would just sit on the sidelines when his kids would play touch football or tag football or whatever. And dude the spoiled kid, basically what happened was he heard about how the quote-unquote high school quarterback always got the ladies in the movies. He was watching a lot of TV shows and movies over the summer, and he was like, okay, I know what I gotta be. I gotta be the high school quarterback because the ladies love the high school quarterback, man. Therefore, I must be the high school quarterback. So yeah, that's his reasoning. Do you think that he trained, he practiced, he at least understood the rules of football before that summer, before trying to apply? No. He just went in cold knowing that he wanted to be star quarterback, and since he's gotten everything that he's ever wanted before, then he shall receive star quarterback. So anyways, it's finally the day of tryouts, and Sam gets there, and he links up with the coach. He's like, what's good? The coach is like, Sam, great to see you again. Look, these tryouts are just, they're important for everyone to do it. You got a pretty solid spot on the team, though, but don't slack off. But yeah, don't worry about it, basically. And they get there, and so they're all lined up, and the football coach is like, welcome to the whatever year football season for whatever school, academy, whatever, right? And he's like, these will be the tryouts. We'll let you know how things are shaking up by the end of this week. We will let you know with good, pretty promptly if we don't think you're going to make the team. So we'll make first round cuts by the end of tomorrow, just so you guys have a lot of flexibility to figure out what sport you're playing in the fall, as the school required everyone to either play a sport or do some sort of activity during this time block. And so, yeah. So sure enough, they're all trying out or whatever. And Sam overhears the spoiled kid walk up to the football coach and be like, so, do you guys have an open position for star quarterback? Dude really just said star quarterback. He's really just paraphrasing what he reads on TV. But anyways, the football coach is like, well, Actually, we have a pretty good quarterback already, but I mean, it's really we're gonna put the best person for the position in the spot. So if you really think that, yeah, I mean, if you're a dark horse and you come out and you're not on our radar and you're much better, then probability of that is pretty low. But we'd always love to see. The spoiled kid was like, I would like to be the star quarterback, and they're like, okay, well, we'll watch you during practice and we'll let you know if we think that you're in the running. The spoiled kid's like, what was that? I said, like, we're filling out positions, right? So I just want to be star quarterback if that's cool. And I think the coaches started to realize that there's a bit of a disconnect between this kid and reality, but also the understanding of how this whole process works. Which, first of all, this was an immediate red flag to them that this kid did not understand football in the slightest. But beyond that, American football in the slightest, right? But beyond that, they were like, okay, well, the way it works here is that, you'll play and we'll decide who gets what position. And the spoiled kid's like, okay, well, I do want to be star quarterback, but sure, I'll do tryouts or whatever. So I think the spoiled kid thought that, like, oh, well, I just need to do what everyone else does, so it's not obvious that they're just giving me the position. And the coaches are thinking, what on earth is this kid thinking right now? By the way, leave a like and subscribe to the channel or you're a spoiled kid. Yeah. So the actual tryouts, and remember, Sam has overheard all of this. And he thinks it's pretty funny because, he sees the spoiled kid. He knows he's not star quarterback material. And he just knows for a fact that this kid had just been has no idea what football is. Just the way he was interacting with the coaches, he just knew for a fact this kid was not going to get out there and just be obviously great material for star quarterback. At least it was looking that way, right? So sure enough, they get out there and they're doing, look, I didn't play, American football as a teenager. I went to some games, and I actually still go to games right now in college. It's actually quite a lot of fun, even though I don't know what's going on. I know I want the bigger score, and I want the enemy team to have the lower score, something like that. It's not golf. It's not the other way around. So they go through tryouts, whatever that entails, and it is super, super obvious that the spoiled kid has, one, no idea what he's doing, two, no idea how to throw a football, and three, is just probably not even going to make the team. Won't even make the bench, which was it was actually kind of competitive to make the bench. They had a pretty good team, but he wasn't even going to be close to making the bench, which if you're not even close to making the bench, you are not even close. You're not even the same planet, right? You're not even on the same planet to make star quarterback, bro. That's crazy. So by the end of the day, right, what the coaches said was they were going to tell people at the end of the second day who was making cuts, right? But the coaches just saw such a blatant discrepancy between the ability of the spoiled kid and what he was wanting that they thought it was, kind of important for them to at least let the kid know that things probably were not about to go his way, correct? Things were probably not about to go his way. So Sam overhears the coaches going up to the kid and being like, hey, what was your name again? And he's like, spoiled kid. They're like, oh, spoiled kid. Yeah, not obviously his name, but you know what I mean. And they're like, so, we're watching you out there with your performance. We just want to let you know that, we're happy for you to keep trying out and maybe get on the team. They knew who's not going to get on the team. But they're like, we just think it's really unlikely at this point that you're going to make star quarterback. It's a very difficult position. We're not saying that you will never make it, as maybe if you make the team, you'll be able to make your way up there. But we think you need a bit more practice. The spoiled kid's like, I don't understand. I said I wanted the star quarterback position. Like, I asked nicely. And one coach laughs a little bit and then stops laughing when he realizes that this kid isn't joking. The other coach kind of knows right away that this kid he's one of the spoiled kids who's just received everything that he's ever wanted. He's never been told no. And so the coaches have to inform him that simply that's just not how it works around here. That it's not you ask to fill a position and you will fill a position, and it is really a skill-based position, and you will show up and demonstrate your skills to see if the skills, match. And so by the end of it, the spoiled kid was starting to get really mad. He's like, I don't understand. I asked you guys real nice. If I could be star quarterback, and you're saying no. How on earth am I supposed to get all the ladies now? And they're like, son, if your only intention to be star quarterback was to get all the ladies, then maybe being star quarterback in the first place wasn't a good idea. And also, son, if your intention is to get all the ladies, probably not the most efficient way is to dedicate your entire life to American football right now to try and get the 5% chance if you spend all the time from here on out to get star quarterback. Like, there are better ways to go about that at this point in your life. And the spoiled kid was super angry, cursed them out, and stormed off. And the thing is, Sam overheard him, and he was mumbling, "They're all against me. They all hate me. Oh, sorry, my brain broke. Every other time that I've asked for something, I've gotten it. And now I ask and they're not giving it to me. They're taking this away from me. They are," and then he kind of like goes off mumbling into the distance, right? So this was Sam's first interaction with the spoiled kid. But it simply does not end here. Because the spoiled kid at this point knows that he's not going to make star quarterback, but that doesn't stop him from wanting to ask out the prettiest girl at the school. We're going to call this girl Caroline, right? So Caroline was kind of not notorious means famous with like a bad nut. She was, but she also wasn't famous. I don't know how to say it. She was just well known at the high school as being like the beauty queen, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know if you guys like back in the day had that like one girl in your class you're like, dang, like she's definitely like on top of the food pyramid here. I don't know how else to say it. Sometimes it's not very clear, but sometimes it really is. Like there's that one girl. And right, the other thing is Caroline, that kind of definitely went to her head. She definitely was aware of it, as, you know, just the way that every guy treated you. And, you know, the girls either completely did anything you said or they hated you. At that point, you kind of became self-aware. She became self-aware and used it. Like, she wasn't known as a great person. She was just known as winning the genetic lottery, right? So right off the bat, Caroline was very, very picky. And she was definitely the type that would have only gone for the star quarterback. And if anything, she was just probably already talking to the star quarterback by the time the spoiled kid wanted to get, you know, throw his hat in the ring, right? And yeah, so Sam was like always kind of thought that Caroline was kind of pretty or whatever, but he knew better than to try at this stage in life. He's just like, no, you know, look, the things that she values do not align with me. I'm just not this, she's just not going to say yes to me because I don't have enough clout or whatever stupid stuff, right? High school rules are stupid, but, you know, there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just going to let it be. However, the spoiled kid did not realize this. Or maybe he did, but he just thought because he's always received everything he's ever wanted, so might as well, you know, ask for this and receive as well. I mean, who knows? Why wouldn't that work? So yeah, the spoiled kid decides that the best way, you know, actually, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a question and answer. So the question is, how is the spoiled kid going to try and basically woo this girl into liking him? A, he is going to make the effort to start to speak to him, and comment down below before you hear it out which one you think it is. A, he's going to make the effort to go and talk to her. He's going to really put in the time to speak to her. He's going to learn about what she likes and craft conversations based off of that. He's going to show his best face forward. He's going to be polite, yet he's going to be consistent and persistent with what he does, with his trying to like talk to her, all that kind of stuff. He is going to be, and then he's eventually going to ask her out on something a little bit more formal, a little bit more formally romantic. I don't know. Go to the movies, get ice cream, something very nice. Or B, he's going to not talk to her at all, but then make a massive scene in front of all of her friends with a big, basically he's going to do something crazy and insane. If you answered A, God bless your soul, but no, it is B. Yeah, so sure enough, one day in lunch, the infamous day that will go down in history, Sam is sitting there with his two friends. They're eating whatever. They're probably complaining about the cafeteria food, being like, dude, this sucks, bro. But that's when they see, you know, or not that's when, but he sees that Caroline is sitting with some of her friends. The other two, like the second and third most popular girl, they're all sitting together. And it's very interesting dynamics, but high school dynamics are just weird in the first place. But they're all sitting there, and if you made it this far into the video, comment spoiled down below. Secret word of the day. By the way, I'm on Spotify. I don't know why I say we. These videos are on Spotify. Link is in the pinned comment. And if you're on Spotify, make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars. I think it gets help promote it in the algorithm. I don't know how Spotify works, my friend. I do not know. But anyways, Caroline is sitting with her friends, and that's when the spoiled kid walks in, and he has an electric guitar. You already know that this is about to go south. You already know for a fact that this is not about to go well. The spoiled kid walks in with an electric guitar and a bass boost. So basically, when he plays the electric guitar, it's very loud. And he walks in, and everyone kind of turns their head because it's not every single day that someone walks into the cafeteria with an electric guitar and a bass boost. It's just not every single day that that happens, or an amp or whatever, right? So he walks up, and like Caroline and her table looks over at him, kind of like laughs or whatever, talks to each other. But then Caroline and her table's expression starts to change from poking fun to genuine confusion to moderate terror as he approaches the table, because it becomes more and more clear that he's beelining it right towards their table. So at this point, Sam is starting to realize this as well. And he's like, oh, good heavens. Like, oh, God, bro. Oh, no. Yeah, so sure enough, he stops right outside the table. And he's like, Caroline, I would like a moment of your time. And he's like, at this point, everyone stopped talking. Everyone has turned their heads. And everyone is staring profusely at this. They're just staring at this kid intensely. And he's like, Caroline, will you be mine? It is the worst thing you've ever seen. And I don't know what the rest of the lyrics are. I could totally make them up for you guys. But all I know is it's a lot of poor drum playing. Because here's the thing. Since he's a spoiled kid, he doesn't know how to play guitar. No, that would take time. That would take effort, which is one thing he doesn't know. And it would be so much easier for him to just go in to the guitar shop, buy the most expensive electric guitar, and think, oh, well, I spent a lot of money on it, then it should just play itself. So he's going like, boom, yeah, so that's about what it sounds like. Think of that, but like that's the nice version of what it actually sounds like. And also, he's just saying random stuff like, you're so pretty, you're so fine, will you be mine? Like, it is, I'm trying to like replicate how bad it is, but as uncomfortable as the thing I just did was, 10x that. At the end of it, he basically says like, will you be mine and go out with me on Friday night, and then it just stops. Dead frickin' silence for a whole 10 seconds. Which sounds like not a lot of time, but you have to realize it is a cafeteria full of like 50 to 100 people that are all staring and watching at this. 10 seconds of pure dead silence is extremely difficult to come across. Like, it is extremely unlikely to come across. And yeah, let's just say that silence didn't last forever though, as literally everyone like bursts out laughing. Because bro, I'm not gonna lie, I might laugh as well if I hear that. Dude, all I'm saying is maybe this is not the best way to go about it. Look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the best way is to not talk to this girl ever, go up to her, completely embarrass her in front of everyone, show off that you don't know how to play guitar, show off that you don't know how to sing, show off that you don't know how to songwrite, and show off that you have no social awareness at all. Maybe that is the best way. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm stupid. Who knows, dude? So, yeah, Caroline and her friends, instead of responding and saying no, they literally stand up and they walk out of the lunchroom like in single file line. Dude, when they say, oh, the worst thing she can say is no. Oh, no, dude. You are so wrong. So, yeah, the spoiled kid is literally just like standing there in the middle of everyone, right? With his guitar, his bass, whatever. Bad situation. And he's getting really mad. He's like, the only reason she didn't say yes is you guys convinced her otherwise. She was totally going to say yes to me if you guys weren't here, making her feel like she shouldn't. And everyone's like, dude, what? And he just like runs out of there. He's like, it's all your guys' fault. It's your fault. Basically pulling a Nico Cavo avocado, being like, it's your fault. Whatever, right? And yeah, so sure enough, right? This is not the end of it. Because the spoiled kid is so angry about this that he decides to go on a week-long vacation. Yeah, I told you guys he was a spoiled kid. And this means that, he has access to go on a week-long vacation to a tropical place if he wanted to. Even though he was just a sophomore in high school, he went home. He's like, Mom, buy me a ticket to the Bahamas right now. I'm going to go. So yeah, sure enough, he doesn't attend school for an entire week because he gets on a private plane and he goes off to a tropical resort in the Bahamas. And he just kind of like messes around for a little bit. And he was like, oh, Mom, I'm so stressed out from school. I need to do it right now. And if you don't, I'm going to be so sad. It's going to be all your fault. Meh. So, yeah, he's able to go on a private trip to the Bahamas, which is pretty cool for him, I guess. And the thing is, though, this was very bad timing because Sam and him had a class together. And in this class together, they had a pretty major test coming up. And they were going to spend the entire week going over important materials for the test. Sure, the spoiled kid, in theory, could have studied over his trip. I'm not going to say that wasn't possible, but we both know the spoiled kid. And we know for a fact that he is not going to spend his impromptu Bahamas vacation studying for a Algebra 2 exam. We both know that's not going to happen. So the spoiled kid legitimately misses an entire week of class, and the test was on Monday. So sure enough, the entire week goes by, and Monday comes around, and it's finally time for the test. They all walk in, and the spoiled kid walks in and looks confused because everyone's kind of like sitting in their desks. They are getting pencils out. They're putting their backpacks away. Instead of the more chill environment where people are kind of talking, they're very casually walking in. They have their computers out. No, these people are dialed in. So the spoiled kid looks around, and I think he whispers to someone like, what's going on? They're like, dude, we have a test. And he's like, what? So yeah, he sits down. The teacher starts handing out the test, and the teacher's like, spoiled kid, I haven't seen you for the last week. He's like, yeah, I was doing something. And the teacher's like, okay, as long as you cleared that with the front office, which I think his parents did, said, oh, he has a medical emergency, he can't be here or something, which is a lie. He just went on a vacation. But he didn't get in trouble for not being in class, but at the end of the day, if you're not in class, you're not in class. Ooh, genius statement, Connor. But that means he just didn't get the information, right? So he sits down, and bro completely bombs the exam. It's not like he was really trying that hard beforehand, but missing out of an entire week of really dedicated review kind of messed him up a little bit. And he got completely destroyed on this exam. But the spoiled kid wrote on top, like, I wasn't here for a week, so I should get plus 40% for all the stuff I missed. Because the thing is, like, Sam, when he went to hand in his test, he handed his test in right after the spoiled kid did. So he saw what the spoiled kid wrote on his exam, which he was like, dude, just because you missed time doesn't mean you should get bonus points on it. Like, why should you get compensated for not being here and going on a fancy vacation instead of, suffering through class like all the rest of us have? No, like, that's obviously ridiculous. And Sam knew for a fact that he was not going to get a 40-point boost for not being here. Like, if anything, he's lucky he doesn't get any points deducted from his participation for not being there for a week, dude. But anyways, right, eventually on Wednesday, the teacher grades him pretty quickly or efficiently, and the tests are being handed back. When the spoiled kid gets his test back, he immediately screams, "This is an outrage! This is ridiculous!" Which the entire class immediately turns to look at him because bro literally just screamed, "This is an outrage, this is ridiculous." I mean, I think I'm going to be paying attention to what he's saying as well, dude. So sure enough, the teacher's like, yes, spoiled kid, like, what's up? He's like, this is a ridiculous grade. I deserve at least a 90 for effort. And she's like, I'm sorry, like, I was a little surprised by your grade too, but I was pretty generous with my points on your test as well. I don't know what else to say, man. He's like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this school. All you guys hate me because I'm rich. And everyone in the class is like, what? Dude, what are you saying right now? He's like, everyone's been against me from day one because I come from a wealthy background. It's your fault. Doing a complete Nico Cotto right now. And he goes on to say, the reason I didn't get star quarterback is because the coach hated me because I was from a better background than him. And the reason why the girl didn't say yes to me, the reason why, what's her name? Caroline didn't say yes to me is because she knew she couldn't keep up with me and my whip. And the reason why I got failed on this test is not because I didn't do well, which he didn't do well. It's not because I didn't do well. It's because the teacher was big mad that I went on a fancy trip. You guys are all haters. Goodbye. He gets up and he just runs out of the class. And yeah, you guys might be thinking, okay, well, that's a pretty big overreaction, but that must be the end of his overreaction. Oh, no. This is where things get crazy. And I did not clickbait you with the title. This is where the title comes into play, man. So the spoiled kid was super big mad. And he thought to himself, I need to teach everybody a lesson for discriminating against me because I'm rich, which, no, he didn't get the position as star quarterback because he didn't play football, dude. He just never played football. So obviously he wasn't going to get it. He got rejected by that girl. Well, one, she probably wouldn't have said yes to him in general, but also the way that he asked her out was super embarrassing for her. She doesn't even know who he is, and this is the only impression she has. I doubt any girl would say yes under that impression, bro. And finally, he failed his final exam because he was so mad about the last two things that instead of attending class and or studying, he went on a big long vacation because he could. Because, you know, he could. He's going to do whatever he can or he wants because he, in general, he can get whatever he wants. But the spoiled kid had twisted this reality into everybody's against him and he needs to teach them a little bit of a lesson. Which I think the spoiled kid just doesn't understand the difference between teaching someone a lesson and burning down the school. But yeah. So anyways, the spoiled kid somehow gets access to gasoline. What the frick, bro? He gets access to gasoline and matches and a lighter. And yeah, this is where things get, okay, I'm going to put this disclaimer in because I think I have to, but also I hope you guys aren't literal 0 IQ individuals. Don't do this, okay? God, I mean, if you guys watch this video and think, oh, I should just go burn down my school, then you actually have a 0 negative IQ individual. Like, I don't know how else to say it. But I think I'm just going to say it just because, right? So anyways, the spoiled kid, so Sam's in class one day, and the fire alarm goes off, and he's like, oh, okay, whatever, this is like, cool. I get to get out of class for another stupid fire drill. So they all get in line, and Sam realizes that this is not a fire drill because it's like the air around him is less clear. It is dense. It's not smoky yet, but it's like dense and it's a little hazy. And he smells a little barbecue in the air. And that's when he realizes, oh, word, this is actually an actual fire, bro. Like, this isn't some drill that's annoying. That genuinely is just made to make us, like, waste time, basically. Oh, this is legit. So everyone is, like, walking in single file line. Some kids are freaking out because they're starting to realize it's legit. But thankfully, everyone gets out of the building safely. And when they get out of the building, they start to see, like, smoke come out of the windows and stuff. They see the fire truck come. They see all the firemen go in. And, yeah, they're, you know, a big message, big mass email, text message, phone, whatever, was sent out to all the parents saying, look, there's emergency at the school. Your children are safe and outside, but we do need you to come and get them as soon as you possibly can. We understand some of you guys have, like, arrangements already. We'll have staff here until 7 or whatever, right? Or still whenever, but please come pick them up as soon as you can. So Sam got picked up, and his mom's like, oh my God, like the school, because they're looking at it now, and there's just billows and billows of smoke coming out of everything. It's legit, right? So they're just like, oh my God, whatever happened? And at this point, Sam had no idea. 2 weeks go by, and basically they are on the equivalent of Zoom at this point because the school is in really bad shape, and they're trying to find a new place for them to go. But it's getting close to the end of the year, or it's not getting close to the end of the year. It's getting closer to the end of the semester. So there's a little bit more spacing between the first 3 mini stories I told you than it might have seemed. Because now they're getting close to the end of the semester. And they were going to go home anyways pretty soon. But they're basically on Zoom at this point. And so that's when one of his friends comes over to Sam's house. And he's like, bro, I got the whole inside scoop. And Sam's like, okay, like lay it on me. And basically he goes on and says, so the spoiled kid was caught like by one of the teachers with a can of gasoline and a lit match or whatever, or a lighter or something like that. And that's when the teacher's like, what are you doing over here? And that's when the teacher like picked up the gasoline can and realized that it was 95% empty. Like there's just a little bit left. So she's like, was this full when you got here? And the spoiled kid's like, yes, it was. I'm here to teach you guys a lesson. Yeah, so eventually she immediately called like, oh, we have to get the kids out of here. And then immediately, like, fire alarm went off like 30 seconds later. It was crazy. So yeah, the kid was, the school got, school investigation, police investigation. The spoiled kid no longer goes to that school. He's underage. He's not 18, I should say. So it's kind of a weird litigation of what actually happens with him. The spoiled kid's parents are furious, like they moved neighborhoods, or they just moved entirely, right? Spoiled kid, his parents like lived around the world anyways, so they barely gave him any attention, which is probably why he turned out the way he did. But they're currently trying to find a new place to live and try and have that stuff not follow them. They basically spent like $1 million on lawyers just to chuck lawyers at this problem. Because if they throw enough lawyers and enough litigation at this, maybe they'd be able to slow it down so that they'd eventually just like give up on trying to persecute their kid. So yeah, the spoiled kid no longer attends a school. He goes to school somewhere else, exactly where nobody really knows. But that was quite an overreaction to getting rejected, bro.
Click on the
It's
video
not
on
that
screen
deep,
right now.
dude.
I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.